Hey YouTubers, my name is Derek, and I've decided to start posting a video blog, so here it is. I don't really have a script or anything, so I'm not really sure what I'm going to say, but I will say that today is my 1 year anniversary of coming out. I guess I'll share my coming out story with you then. It was during finals week last year, so that already added to the large amount of stress that I had. I remember I was seeing a therapist because my parents had noticed I was having some depression and difficulty concentrating in school. Although for like the few sessions that I went through, I just BS'd everything, made up some reasons why I was depressed because I just wasn't ready then. I was still becoming comfortable with myself. But I remember before one of the sessions, I remember I had my biology final the next day, and I was studying for that a large amount of the time. I wrote a letter on the computer, pretty much explaining everything, and then my family went to the therapy session again. My mom and dad both came that time. I'm not sure why, but that's beside the point. We didn't read the letter at the therapy session because I didn't really work up the courage then to be with them as they read the letter. So after it was over, as my dad was getting into his car and me and my mom were getting in our car, I just handed the letter to my dad because I definitely did not want to be in the same car with the person who was reading the letter. So we just started driving home, and I was literally shaking the entire ride home. And my mom kept asking me what that letter was that I handed to my dad, and I just said, oh, well, it was nothing. So I ended up not being able to study at all for biology. I got a C on that final, I think, anyway. So what happened was I got home. Me and my mom beat my dad home, and I was just sitting there waiting for him to come in. And eventually he did, and he just looked at me and he said, you and I need to talk. So he brought me outside. I specifically told my mom not to go outside with us, to stay inside. Me and him sat down and talked for like an hour or so. It was kind of upsetting because I thought they might just get mad or something, but my dad ended up refuting it, saying that, oh, you don't know any of that, you're too young, you have no idea what you want in life. And I was just really upset that that's how it has to turn out. And I didn't want to tell my mom yet, but my brother, who knew everything because he was okay with it, it's fine. He told my mom what was happening, and my mom came running downstairs, and she was like, your brother told me everything. And I was like, oh shit. And she was just like, really? She just had this disgusted look on her face. Just like, I can't believe you. And she just left the room. She went back upstairs. My dad and I kept talking for a while. I eventually came back in, and my mom was up in her room. I have no idea what she was doing or anything. And then for the next couple of days, my parents totally just like brushed it aside, said, oh, nah, let's just not approach a subject. If we don't talk about it, it doesn't exist, right? But for like the past year, my dad's just been like, oh, whatever, it's just a phase, it'll go away eventually. So he hasn't made a big deal out of it. But my mom has really been a bitch about it. She makes fun of me all the time. She says things like, oh, why do you act so feminine all the time? She says, stop being such a fag. And it's just gets really hard sometimes because you want your parents to accept you, you want your friends to accept you, you just want to be accepted by all the people you love and who you spent your life with. But it just looks like my mom's not going to end up accepting it. So I'm ready to live with that. I'm going to go live on my own. I think it's going to be okay. I would have thought, like, if I gave them a year or so that they would eventually come around, but apparently it's not as easy for them. My ultimate goal is that at one point they'll eventually come to terms with it, just like it took me quite a while myself to accept myself. I think it was about 3 years that it took me. So I'm hoping it doesn't have to come to me never seeing them again, because I care about them a lot, and I just don't want it to end like this. But I'm just one of the cases where not everyone accepts it. It's not always a happy ending where everyone's like, oh, we love you for who you are, it doesn't matter. No, not in my case. So that's really all there is to me. I'm still going through the struggles and ordeals that you have to go through. And it's really tough getting comments like that from your mom every single day of your life. But it's something you all just have to go through if you're dealing with this. If you're not dealing with this, good for you. You don't have to. But if anyone else is going through this or has been through it, wants to talk, I'd love to talk. I love to talk about what's going on, what you want to do, what's anything. I love to talk. Just send me a message. Anything. I'll talk. I'm going to help you with your problems. And I just think it's great to hear from people and hear other people's experiences about what are going on. And so that's about the end of my video. I'm 16, if I didn't already say that. So came out when I was 15. And I'm hoping that this is going to be the first of a series of video blogs on YouTube. And so that's really it. My name is Derek. Peace out.